Good morning, folks. Happy Tuesday. What's going on, guys? Goodness. What is going on, folks? Welcome back. Welcome back. Another day. Let's get it going. If you were following futures a little earlier, the flow, we had Asia with a bit of continued selling, obviously waiting for, not obviously, I should remove that from the vocabulary at this point. Asia looking for confirmation in the broader market for risk, right? We're still in a risky spot in the overall sense of everything. Since, again, even though we've just recently started digesting yields, there's still a lot of questions, of course, of where exactly are we heading? Are we within a consolidation that's supposed to be correcting some of the price action of prior moves? These are questions that we don't have markets in bubbles. I mean, I don't mean bubbles. I mean, we don't have markets in vacuums, right? The U.S. market isn't just on its own moving and doing whatever it wants, right? We're tied into every single market. And so when we look at Asia today, Asia's waiting for a signal. Asia traditionally is looking towards the U.S. in terms of the way in which our markets are moving, and they're very tied towards the treasury side because of borrowing. And we've talked a lot about that. So they're looking specifically more for our treasury market to get a little bit more stabilized. Again, yields are sort of bouncing back and forth now. We stabilized from Friday. Yesterday, yields came up a little bit more. Again, just sort of the ebb and flow of how that market works. And Europe right now is doing pretty well. So Asia closed. Europe started to pick it up a little bit. They're continuing the move from yesterday. So again, yesterday we of course had a very sharp rally, which on Friday we all put pretty big bets that the market was going to be up this week. Got paid. Most of you posted in the profit section. You get paid, right? Or you're sitting on gains that you knew today you'd have a bit of a stop day, a little bit of take profit since it was such a sharp rally yesterday. You have a big buy event. You're going to historically lose some of that the next day. The question again on every single person's mind, and you're sitting in position, is whether or not the market's going to continue through that sharp rally. Was the rally just again a bounce back and a further move down? These are things that are on everyone's mind, and again, there's no absolutes. The markets are pointing towards a continued move to the upside. Even though there's risk out there in terms of what's going on with yields, there's still appetite for it. And again, nothing's in a vacuum. So when we look, this is just the futures market. You can see the differences of what's going on here. This is coming down through the night, and then in the morning here, Europe gets going, and we're sort of trending towards the upside. That's what the futures look like. But when we talk about, let's just take a look at the SPY. When we talk about where exactly we're going, we've obviously had a lot more volatility recently. Talk about the sizing of candles. Spreads are wide. You're not even close to getting sort of an average. There is no averages when your market looks like this. Now, we do have a lot of different ways that we can speak towards the sizing of some of the candles here in the price movement. When we think about traditionally, a lot of price movement in markets is really from pre-market and after-hours action. That's really where most of the price action comes from, in really the movement. In this market, it's intraday, right? It might be a little bit before, it might be a little bit pre-market and after-hours, but right now, intraday is where the moves are happening. And sure, there's still, when we have earnings and, Zoom's up, 7% this morning, these type of things, we get a day where it's being dictated by after hours. But even on these type of moves, there's still so much intraday movement. A lot of this, again, is due to significantly more flows. So there's just more money being involved. There's significantly more volume, so more transactions being done every single day. And the option market is just exploded, right? We just, every single month, having record amounts of volume in the options market. So again, all of this is sort of, it's continuing to get bigger and bigger, not so much bloating, there could be, you could sometimes go, well, it's getting bloated and they're just sort of meaningless trades going back and forth, but we're not really at that stage. And so for some of the idea over here, because again, the idea of the market wants to instantly price things, which we've seen a lot. And the question again is whether or not that yield spike and everything was going to lead to some sort of correction, which as we understand it, and even as I understand it, is when we make a big move and need to consolidate, we're just going to correct. It'll just be 10%. I mean, was that this? Did we do that? There's still plenty of people that think there's a correction due, or that somehow there's like a sell signal within this, even though there's this bouncing back and forth. The one thing about bubbles is that you need to be overextended, and in this climate, in the where we are now, post financial crisis of 2008, since QE started, and with the Fed being what it is today, the way that bubbles will work is through liquidity. Do we have a liquidity problem in this market? No, we don't have a liquidity problem. Did the bond market just have a liquidity problem? Yes, they had a problem because everything sold at the same time. And it's pretty hard if every single bond desk sells at the same time to fill that, right? Is that happening could that happen in the equity market? It's not even comparable. It's not even close. Are we overvalued? Sure. Yeah, we're overvalued. Tech was overvalued a year ago. A year ago almost. I mean, little over that. Back in May or so, when we broke all-time high in tech. Yeah, overvalued. Are we overextended? Are they things that we can't afford through liquidity? No, we can afford it. We can actually afford it. So, again, in terms of bubbles or like some sort of crash like this idea, it's not the same. We're just not in the same climate. Corrections happen, and we see price instantly move towards where it wants to go. But again, we don't have a liquidity problem right now. We'll know when we have a liquidity problem, because that's when we start to get. This is not what it looks like if we have a liquidity problem or that's on the menu. So again, these sort of things choreograph themselves whether or not we're going into a market like that. Right now, we're taking advantage of some fear and risks that others do not want to have a part of their portfolio. They're willing to just get those inching away sort of gains where, okay, remove my risk. I can get in when I get in, get my points now. They don't want to put the risk. We want to get paid. We want to be able to, just like I asked, you put positions on Friday, you could have took profit yesterday and got at least 100% on just about every single trade, right? Just about every trade if you had a little bit of risk there, right? So again, we have to take advantage of what's in front of us, and we can't go into the picture of, well, we could correct tomorrow. Well, I'm going to be in and out of my trade before that, so I'm not really worried. None of you are doing long-term investing or something where you need to think about that, right? That's the difference. And this is the point I want to make, is that we are not fucking institutions. We're, those things that we hear in media and that you see in movies and shit are about big institutions in billion-dollar portfolios. None of you are that. You're small fries. Even you whales, you're poor to the average investor, or the average institution, right? So we don't trade like that. We are not on long-term schedules. None of you are trying to take advantage of capital gains, the plus 1 year trades. No one here. So don't act like that, and don't think ahead in that way. We think ahead in terms of what other people are thinking to take advantage of the now. We trade in this moment. Why? Because we can put a trade on a Friday and take profit on the Monday following and make 100%. That's a double up on your portfolio if you put your money in, right? So that's where we operate, and we don't kid ourselves and act like we're something that we're not. That's what we do. You know what happens when the candles start looking like this? We get paid for doing the same thing. We did nothing different. We've done nothing different. We do the same type of trades, follow the same rules. But when the market gets a little volatile, a little bit of fear, we make the same kind of trade that we've been practicing over and over, and we've done forever, and we get paid a higher exponential because of the volatility, right? So again, you should be salivating at the mouth when markets start to get a little stirry and headlines start popping up. Because again, we don't care. We'll just trade it either way. Whether it's up or down, the more the fear comes in and the more the risk comes in, the less time it takes for us to get paid. That's just the reality. It's just going to take less time. When it's a little bit more trendy, it's going to take a little bit more time because we have to push the trade further and further, right? And we're taking advantage of the risk that it takes to push a position further over a week compared to just now a couple days. So again, operate within our zone. Don't take your trades through the managing side of, oh well, there is a possibility of a correction. Sure, but that's what you're getting paid for. That's the whole reason why you're getting any gains. So do you want that to go away so that you can just make, $10 an hour? Or do you want to do that so that you can just get one fucking check and you don't need to do any sort of anything else? So again, remove some of that because it's going to continue to happen. If we start to consolidate in here and price doesn't break into all-time highs this week, there's going to be headlines everywhere of, oh, well, we haven't returned on the trend and we're going to be in a bubble. Great. I hope so. I really hope so. That would be awesome. Blow up the other accounts and let us make money on it. That would be great. It's just not, we're not really in that position right now, right? So those things aside, what are we doing? We're trading value. We're understanding that in terms of tech, there are points to catch up. It is quite a ways away. So even the move yesterday on the S&P really showing that, again, I mean, this is basically Apple. When you look at the tech side, right, this move here, the question is whether or not we're climbing into the trend today. I would say more than likely, if the signal is towards a trend to the upside, then this is going to have to catch up, which means it's going to need to climb back in its channel, get through some of the supply. Really, the big standout yesterday was Apple. The big thing to remember here is that this is completely options oriented. Really, the reason why this is happening is because of the options, right? It's very important to see that, and the way you can really see this is in compare all the FANG stocks. You can throw, again, we include Tesla in there now, and compare the price movements in the way that they're moving, and then you could just look at the options of each one and see why Apple's got, 2-3 times as many options out there in terms of the amount of contracts out there, right? It's very straightforward. Now, whether or not this continues is the big question. This is signaling, though, right, that it's continuing. That's a breakout. As we understand it, that's a breakout. There's nothing else to it. So what does this mean? Well, this means tech can keep pushing. They're all going to converge together. They're going to follow the leader, right? We understand that, okay, Amazon didn't put many points on, right? Does anyone want to be in here specifically? No. They're already in value, though. Can you buy more if you're already in? Yes. So what's happening right now? Well, we see things like, I was joking about, when you think of these moves, we just keep trading and trading on our understanding of value and keep pushing the idea that, okay, this is where you want to be. So, how far can Death Boat go? You can only buy so much of the Death Boat, CCL, and the cruise lines, right? But do you see what's happening? Now we have analysts coming out raising targets and everything else because what are they doing? Think about all this price movement in here. There's not much belief on the institution side during this part of the move, but yet the price is increasing as if institutions are going long. And now all of a sudden, what do you get? You start to get all of the big boys coming out going, oh, you know what? Yeah, let's start raising price targets here because now they're in position. All of this volatility allowed for them to get into position. So now they're all pushing price targets. So this morning you got a bunch of analysts coming out going, oh yeah, push the envelope on the cruise lines because fundamentals are great. You gotta love the fundamentals that no one's gone on a cruise in a fucking year, but it's good stuff. 2022 will be a year. Like again, it completely backwards, right? There is no fundamentals on this fucking chart. It's just now that the price is up here, they're like, you know what? Wasn't willing to buy at 20, but I'll buy at 26, right? That's literally what's happening. So again, when the point here to make is that just because price is here does not mean you can't get involved. And just because you took profit and sold a position doesn't mean you can't re-enter. One of the most important things to be able to do is to be able to take profit, realize the gains, take the gains home, and then get back in and make some more gains, right? Now again, that's finicky. Sometimes you take profit too early, and then you just missed all of the gains the next day. there is a point where the risk and reward shows itself, right? And that's why we use some simple rules to understand this. Really easy ideas like on AAL, for instance, with the trend line, we understand where these points are. We take profit, re-enter, and then when things get a little bit, hairy, things are consolidating, we don't get involved until it's clear once again. So again, this sort of price movement, once it starts getting going, we understood there's a market day. We could take advantage of the market day in almost every circumstance. But then the question comes to how do you want to take on these positions? They don't really offer much clarity. And so what I said on Friday was that, and yesterday, is that on some of these trades, we have clarity on where the flows want to go, which is value. But on some of these charts, we don't have clear positioning in terms of timing where we're going to enter a price. So what you have to do is you need to go off of the flows and understand what others are going to do, and you need to trade the others and not the chart. Sometimes that's what we need to do. So trading from a flows perspective, we need to just buy on some of these pullbacks and understand that our downside risk is just based on the amount of people buying behind us. If we see that flows are coming in, and I made this point yesterday in terms of all the ARC related tickers, everything ARC related that they're tied into, we had that major outflow from ARC, right? And the point here being that this outflow led to also a lot of the other tickers like Tesla, all of the sort of course, clean energy and things tied to them. Those had a pullback, not just because of ARC, but this outflow offers opportunity on the inflow side. We want to take advantage of inflow. Well, then you have to buy down here. Are there clear signals to buy anything down here? No. There's not like a support. There's not a trend line we're breaking. I showed like the plug chart idea. There's a lot of charts like this that they just don't offer anything. So what we do is we're going to need to just be buying on this pullback somewhere without trying to convince ourselves a trend line or something. Some of these charts we're just going to have to buy. It will show itself, right? And so there, again, some of these charts we're going to go through the motions of, okay, our highest tier tickers, those that are recently breaking out, we understand what sectors we're looking at as more bullish. The idea, though, is that after those, maybe if there's nothing there are these other charts that have pulled back quite a bit, that if they're getting inflow, then we're just going to go after them, right? We're just going to go after them, not chase them, but try to get into position and then, again, look for them to make a move. If they don't make a move, we don't have a real true downside on a lot of those, right? So we need to continue to fuel some of the risk mentality we have as we continue here. Because again, if we just sort of get sideways trading in here, what's going to happen? If we sideways trade for the next couple of days into, again, Thursday being OPEC meetings, Powell speaking, if we go a little neutral, there are going to be tickers out there that are going to be making momentum kind of moves that we need to take advantage of in that moment, right? So there may not be trend trading charts coming into the end of the week. It may be charts that, because of the sort of sideways trading in the market, due to this sharp rally that we just had here in one day, we may need to be very specific on tickers, and it may be nothing. It may not be sector wide, may not be index wide. It may just be an individual ticker that we need to trade, right? So in terms of this week, again, you've got positions from here. You knew yesterday, if you're the kind of person, the kind of trader that would take profit on any move that happens today. So if this morning you open up like a few percent lower on your options, you're up like 100%, now you're opening up like 10% lower or something, which in most cases that shouldn't be, because again, if you bought anything that wasn't out of the money, you would not be losing value from basically anything. But let's just say you do, and then you took profit on it. Well then, okay, you're that kind of trader that just sort of, you can't push anything and you just get out of everything. Then just do it within that moment and just every single day make the trade, right? You put a trade over the weekend, take a profit on Monday if you're not going to push it over the rest of the week, right? And again, because what we're pushing things for is for the further upside. In a lot of these positions, they actually require further upside before they even get paid. Good example is aerospace and defense, things like DFEN. A lot of these positions are waiting for supply to be broken, and that's when the value comes in. As soon as it breaks it, you get an instant price correction on it. Not correction to the downside, but the price corrects to the actual value. But until it breaks, there's an expectation that price won't break. That's how supply works, because it's going to get rejected, right? So a lot of these charts, we just have to push. We have to push, otherwise it's not even, stop me out. Stop me out. I'm either going to get paid or not. So stop me out, right? There's a lot. There's a lot out there. Yesterday, everything was green. Everything was green. I know you all had a pretty good day. Let's be mindful of today. Be rational. Not get, not get too ridiculous on. Take profits. In terms of pre-market action, again, Zoom putting big numbers on. There was nothing. There was no reason not to continue to push this position yesterday. So again, earnings. Who cares? Earnings. Who cares? If you took profit on this, then I hope you had a good reason, because again, even if price gap down, I don't care. It's earnings. What are they going to do? Earnings. Oh yay, we had more people on Zoom this quarter. Woohoo! Yeah, I mean it just doesn't matter. Again, you can't be making up reasons why you can't do anything, right? In terms of continued moves, travel, again, big day today. Can you buy it if you weren't already in position? I mean, it's very difficult to, those of you that are not in travel right now, I don't know. I mean, it's sort of a shitty spot to, I mean, you can buy it. You can buy it on the break here. It's just kind of a weird spot. Usually in this point, you need to wait for a break now. You buy on a pullback, and then you can buy on the break. So again, you get this sort of tightening here, right? This tightening here, and then price is going to be breaking to the upside. You're going to need to wait for like an opening pullback or a breakout. It's just a weird spot. The options are going to be shitly priced, because what do you have going on here? Well, you have a bunch of people that bought on pullbacks. You have a tightening. So what's happening? No one's sitting in positions as long. So everyone's getting in and out of positions quicker as these trend lines converge, right? That's what trend lines converging mean. And so people are buying and selling quicker. That's when you need to wait for it to tighten the most. So you probably have to wait for price to continue to tighten to the equilibrium, right? We'll see what that does. Win of course looks very good. Win continuing. I mean, look at this price movement, right? You're very close to getting that next leg. I mean, it's at 133.87. You're there, right? You're there. Now, again, when's the best time to be doing this? Well, you should have bought on the pullback like the rest of us on Friday, right? We had a position, took profit, bought on the pullback. Now you're buying up here. The difference, yeah, it may only be like a 2.5% difference on the underlying, and now it's what? Now it's like 4. It's a big difference on the speculation side of options. It's a big difference, because all of these charts are pointing towards the upside. If things are trending to the upside, then there's an expectation, right? Unless you have significant resistance in supply and pricing won't move until it gets through there. A lot of these positions, again, it's so important to see that you got to buy on some of these pullbacks, right? Buy on support. You got to buy on others' fear, because other people's mistakes is your gain, right? It's your gain. You don't want it. You don't need to have it. We'll take it. We'll take it. So we'll watch today. We'll watch today. Again, today's definitely a management day. We understand that after a big buy event, there's going to be some take profit. We do want to see the flows of today. If we take a look at the dollar rolling back over, right? Trying to break through, rolling back over. This is going to be an interesting move to take watch on, keen eye on, because again, if the dollar does break out, well then that's telling us that there's money's going into the dollar for a safe haven, right? Now, there are multiple things that have happened recently where this was risk on dollar. People wanted to buy equities. This was risk on for value. So again, it's not correlated well, but if it does break out, then we have to think that there's some safe haven and people want to get the fuck out. So that's not happening though. That's not happening until it happens. So we can't actually, it's not very helpful to use that until it makes a move. So as we understand it, everyone's buying on risk. No one's really worried, other than maybe some anxiousness in the broader macro market, right? Some understanding. Volatility, spot VIX is still a little elevated, 23.1. It's still down though in terms of movement, but we are elevated. So
again, we are being mindful that others may be out of control and they may be in a situation where they're unsure. Just because we've been getting confirmation of our ideas and we've been on the right side of the market does not mean the market will continue the way it is, right? There are times just like last week where all of a sudden everyone just starts to go the other way because they're unsure. How many more unsure people are there? A lot less than the ones that are. So right now everything does feel very risk on in terms of mentality. But again, you have to keep in mind that there are certainly those out there that are maybe feeling the heat a little bit more, maybe get a little beat up last week. And then, I mean, I think we'll be able to see some of that through here, right? Those types would be coming over here, I would feel like. Take advantage of the liquidity, go make the points back real quick. We'll see how this does. This is already opening above, and you can see futures, or pre-market is starting to wind this up. Let me show you here. Starting to wind this up. See this move here? See how we started a little bit lower on futures in this whole thing? When I showed you that trend up on the minis. This is, again, this is where you don't watch all the pre-market. You could have watched all that action overnight and been like, ah, shit, we're gonna have quite the take profit day, and then everyone now is going bid. So again, fucking game theory out of our mind right now of trying to play other traders when the market's supposed to be going one way, but some traders are going the other. You say fuck them and you go the way the market's going. Follow price, not your cousin Greg, right? Greg's got his head in the macaroni bowl. Don't listen to his tips that he's bubbling in his macaroni bowl, right? If your cousin Greg tells you to do something, hey man, I got this great opportunity. Tell Greg that you're sorry, but I don't think you know what you're talking about. Let's get into it, guys. Again, we're looking for that continued sort of value move. The big change coming into this week is I talked about the Dow. I think the large cap value stocks are going to be the leaders as a dark horse. So I know we've used a lot of the small caps as our understanding since they were so far behind. But now it's really those large cap value companies that the Dow makes up, those 30 companies that Dow 34,000 by April. That's the bet. That is the bet. So let's see what we get here. We're opening very close to the close of yesterday, which is great. It makes the whole day so much easier. Those of you that like to buy it open like I do, you get the whole day ahead of you, and it's very easy to manage. So we'll see what we start out with here. And again, we are looking for what's going to maybe lead from the open today. We're getting take profit from that rally yesterday. Do we get money into tech? Does that money continue to tech? And again, it's options. It's options. So do the rest of the mega caps catch Apple? Does Tesla continue to get inflows? How much is that related to ARK? ARK just got a fucking shitload of inflows. It's like when Trump says, I had the best GDP numbers ever after COVID happened. I had the best job recovery ever in this market. It's like, well, you lost 22 million jobs. Just because you gained 11 million jobs in a quarter doesn't, I think you're forgetting something. That's where all the other jobs are lost. So same thing with tech. Tech lost fucking a boatload. So again, there's been a major outflow. So you could see that the ARK numbers, they had the biggest inflow ever in one day. Holy moly, what a great number. Well, they also had the biggest outflow ever at the end of last week. So put two and two together there. But we are watching those again. We are watching those. Do you want to get involved? And listen, we need to take advantage of retail still, right? So again, if we have a little bit of a sideways trading day, what are they going to do? We took advantage of DraftKings and Penn for the same reason, right? DraftKings and Penn, you put that position on Friday, you were up at least 100%. Plenty of contracts out there that you made well over that. And did you do anything? No, you literally didn't do anything. You just mice and mend that option chain. That's all. All right, what do we see in terms of individual tickers? Again, very important that we are actively trading and not passively trading through averages. I mean, I know we talk about it every day, but we do not trade on the average. We use the average to dictate supply and demand, and we trade individual tickers. Those tickers that have levels, I hope you looked at your charts. You didn't do anything all last week or yesterday, and you're trying to do something now? Well, I hope you were prepared. You know what charts to be mindful of. Beyond Meat making that move, very interesting. We were talking about this move down here, trying to be a player down here. These levels are very, this candle here is very indicative of what's going on there. Trip continues. Zoom's going to be interested to see how it interacts with that trend line. It is just sort of holding up there. We'll see if it kind of gets beat up on the trend line. I'm not going to do anything there yet. Square and PayPal continue. I talked about buying these down here. We bought these on Friday. We bought Square and PayPal on Friday. Cruise lines, of course, continue from some of those things I talked about this morning. Let's see. CrowdStrike within the channel. We'll see. We're trading flat right now. Again, it's going to be one of those days we need to digest that move, get things rolling, get the momentum going. Get it going. Let's put it back on the SPY. We do have support underneath us, remember. Again, we look for sort of those first 3 5-minute candles to build that 15-minute candle on a take profit day after a big rally. It's very important to be a little bit more sharp and technical for us on after a big buy day or a big sell day to watch that next day, which is usually going to be a take profit day, or if it was a sell event, the buying that comes in. We watch sort of that first 15 minutes through 5-minute candles, those 3 5-minute candles, and we see what the move is. What is the move that we're going to trend to the upside? It will be the same every time if it's going to be it. It will be this open, one open candle here, the second candle here, tightening a little bit, and then the third candle towards the upside. 1, 2, 3. That's what it will look like, right? So one candle here, the next candle down in here or in here, tightening, that equilibrium gets reached, and then the third candle towards the upside beating that opening price, and we usually see it like that, right? JJR mentions Netflix. Again, we're watching those supply levels on Netflix. I think, Brian, you mentioned it last night. It is bearish until it breaks. That's definitely some buying there. That's not 1% yet. If it breaks that level there, that 556, there you go. You got your sign. Here's your sign. Until it does, though. That's certainly some fucking volatility in there. That's quite the wick. Until it does, though. Here, give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. All right. So we are tightening on that second We are tightening on the second. Let's bring it over to the Qs. Qs a little bit higher spread, a little bit more volatility on the tech side, of course. What's the thing with tech? No one really wanted to be a part of it. No one really wants to be a part of it on the on the long side. In terms of take profit day, definitely looks very good in terms of volatility so far. Let me bring over to the small cap. Small caps look very good. Historical retrace already on the body of the candles, at least for the intraday, right? For the intraday, of course, this move here, 2.5% on the gap yesterday. We are getting the tightening here. Looks to be getting further upside. So again, now when this starts to tighten, now you start to look at your other positions. If they're breaking as well, you say, okay, looks like I've got demand coming in. If this third candle's coming through here, right? You got to see it though. Otherwise, you have to wait because we want to get a better average. So we're willing to miss a point sometimes to be right. JGR mentions GLNG through the level 1180. Snap, it's a good call as well. Snap, again, this tightening move through the trend line here. We are already bullish on Twitter, and we understand there is a connection. There is a bit of connection in terms of this tightening, so you can really snag some of these. And Facebook definitely had a day yesterday. We'll see how that does today. Again, Facebook not really something that we could imagine that many want to put in their portfolio. Apps continues today. Where does this want to go? Wants to get back in its trend line. Once it get back in its trend line, we'll see what it does there. Very good stuff there. FSR continues. So again, those of you that have taken profit on moves, you need to know when it's time to get back in. You need to know when it's time to get back in. Very important for some of you that might have just taken profit. You need to know when it's worthwhile to get back in. It's okay to do that, right? Take some money home, put some more money in. It's going to happen sometimes. All right, we're coming into the last 5 minutes of the 15 here. That's some nice tightening. Looks like we're going to the upside. It should definitely be an interesting 10 o'clock today. It's going to be an interesting lunch. I would say that we're flat on the day. And then you're going to be neutral going into Thursday. Technically, you should do all the points at once, which is why I talked about you got to put the points on now because you're going to need to be a little neutral around the events. So maybe a continuation from yesterday, or just flat trading again, getting ready for being neutral. BYND chart, not brand new ones. Here's some selling. Let's see how much this is. I think that's tech oriented there. A little bit of tech oriented. See, this continued. This did not tighten on the tech candle here, that volatility. So there is a difference between value and that. Let's see how much this affects the average over here though. Is it the end of the world, folks? Well, let me tell you about some tickers that you can take advantage of if you take profit. It does look like you've got look at the skills chart continuing here, by the way, from that move from Friday. Monday, Tuesday, that's a great move. That's a great confirmation there of yesterday. But anyways, you do have places that you'll be able to go today. It's important to see that. BYND, again, I don't have new, I do not have new pattern or something on there, but these are the levels in there. These are the levels. 157 and 145, something like that around us. There's nothing going on there yet. It's tightening. What we're watching is that tightening for an upside move. Here's a 15. Very nice. I mean, it's a very nice candle. The tech candle is confirmation again of our idea of what tech is. Absolutely the idea. GPRE with some big moves in here. Off of the trend line. me bring you over to some of the recent tickers. So again, the tickers that I just recently posted. Here you go. You got GFL, mentioned already. Through the 32 here, continues. BHC, of course, we've been trading quite a bit. We've traded it multiple times. It's finally tightened, broke through the level. Again, it's at 32. This is a pretty straightforward trade up there. XPO, we have traded before. I deleted the chart from over here, but we traded it through this entire move here. Very straightforward. Look at the level. Look at the level. CMCSA, pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward. What about these charts? Take a look at where we are in here. I want you to take a look at some of these charts that you've missed so far. Maybe I'm going too fast. You have supports that are coming through. Supports that are coming through. A lot of these charts you're buying on the pullback from the breakout of yesterday. Remember that when you have a big breakout, you get a take profit day. That offers you the ability to get into the trades, so you don't have to go chase. The worst thing is to have to go chase the chart. Buy on the pullbacks. Buy on the pullbacks. All right, let me bring it back over to here. MP holding value up here. PGen, APHA. Look at this APHA move. Breaking out of this supply here, that looks like trend line comes in at about almost 24, 23.75 or so. Looks like that's breaking. Trip again, holding up there. Zoom, it's that's a bit of holding up there. If that was rejecting, I think you'd come down to the close of yesterday. Looks like that's holding up there, which things get real interesting again if it's in that trend line. So this is some games, some mind games going on in there. Okay, blink, plug. Let's take a look at some of the EV side. Plug. Tesla. Tesla coming into what we had tightening here, right? What a beautiful wick in here. Thank you, TradingView, for that. Somebody placed an order at $872 yesterday. What a wonderful mistake. I don't know what that is, but this is pulling into that what we had for a tightening trend line. I mean, I like that spot a lot. That's a great spot right there. C Trader says sorry. Yeah, it's a little excessive. Someone fat fingered an extra 100 points, obviously. Do we want to do this? Let's take a look at some others. That's a great buy opportunity right there. What about things like F? Yeah, look at F here. There's the reason why we're already in this position, but this is where you pull back, you buy on that pullback. Let's take advantage of all EVs right now. Clean energy EVs, pull the trigger on those that we haven't done. Let's take advantage of it now, because again, looks like market's gonna be a little sideways. Take advantage of what's fucking discounted right now. Not even discounted, but removing just any of those ideas and just on price movement alone. It's a very nice F move there. Those of you that have continued to push that position, you're obviously getting paid. And it's really fucking hard to get into position if you're not my June contracts. You'll have to wait until May or so, my friend. Again, guys, we're not we're not trading on a long-term schedule right now, right? We're not trading on a long-term schedule. You got to take advantage of the right now. How long are you going to be able to hold those June contracts? Right? There are times when we're trending that we have to go longer term because we have to push through pullbacks. Right now, we are stop and go. Take some out of the cookie jar. Put a little back in. Okay. So, again, sometimes you just gotta pull the trigger. You just gotta pull the trigger sometimes. We'll see how this develops over the day. But we're doing it. We are doing it. Again, you can go through some of the different, through some of the intermediaries. You can go through, F was already done. You can go through Tesla, through Blink. Plug is a little different over here, but you can do it on this pullback here. Again, the idea here is I'm just buying on flows. I'm buying the flow. Sort of like ARK is going to get this flow. Are they not going to get the flow? I mean, why'd they get all this fucking flow? If they're not going to get it here, then why'd they get it here? That's just the reality. If they got it here, then why not here? When the market looks a little bit better than it was over here. In terms of, we got some of the event out of the way, right? We got the volatility out of the way. Now things are a little bit more stable. I don't know. I think you just gotta. We can't doubt some of the very straightforward ideas. And again, you get in and out. I'm fucking gonna be in and out. I'm tight stopping it. Everything's tight stop sensitive, but I'm gonna keep trying to take chances when they're there. I'm not losing anything, but I won't be gaining anything if you're not, right? Just like all of these other trades. All the other trades we're getting paid on. You guys right now are down $220 from what? You're like 800 gain yesterday or something. This pullback here, we'll see. This is going to get me filled on things. We'll see how that happens. But again, when you're watching this, it should be, this is the average, should be dictated on your positions. Where is the middle point here? Hold on. The middle on this is 222. IWM, the middle point, the relative reversal point is 222. Right there. So this is tightening within this candle here so far, which is, again, still signaling tightening towards the upside. Benefit that S&P has, SPY has the trend line as its relative reversal point. It doesn't get much better than that. Tech still higher low, rejection from the trend line, to be expected from a take profit day. 3% on fucking tech yesterday. Again, those of you that want mountains to be moved, you're going to get take profit from you almost in every single case are going to get take profit after a buy event. Markets moved yesterday. You didn't take advantage of it, then it's your own. It's on you. It's on you. Okay, it looks like we're going to be getting filled down here. So, best case scenario, because I want to get filled. I want to buy on this pullback for flows. So, I'm going to let this go into where it tightens. Get filled on it. Does this change? This does not change, again, the reason why I want to be a buyer in here. Or the reason why all of us want to be a buyer, right? Let's take a look at some of the top of the list here, because there are some tickers that are really getting going. AVXL that we talked about from the end of last week. This tightening, again, these positions that look like this, yeah, came from fucking Pennyland. Not the greatest volume. These moves, we understand that once it breaks its supply, it's see you later, senorita. MIK was a similar idea in here. APHA, similar idea. Again, these charts, we've been looking for those to take advantage of them. GT. Again, this whole car parts market. Jeez. Again, these moves. VRM, mentioned room from yesterday. We're getting further confirmation. Again, this kind of move. Retail. What does retail want to do? GM fall under the category. GM would fall under that as well. I think GM being so much more discounted compared to Ford, it's also, but it's still more bullish than Tesla and some of the others. So yes, GM on the support here. It's a great tightening opportunity. What's your downside? Downside is you get stopped out. You have buyers underneath you here. This is proven the buyers at this level, that 52 or so mark. So you got buyers, yes. To be honest with you, I think from the fact that we couldn't really get it, if you didn't get it from Friday, which none of us really wanted to buy Tesla or something on Friday, it was disgusting. You could have bought from yesterday, but now we're getting confirmation of holding that level. We wouldn't have gained anything if we bought yesterday and held it to today. Today is the day. That's just the reality. Today's the day. If it doesn't happen into tomorrow, then that's okay, right? That's okay. But yes, putting all of them on. Putting all of them on. This move that we've already taken part of, the others will go chase this. The others will go catch this. That's the reality, right? Just like this is going to get its flows. They're going to get their flows. Major outflow, overdone, completely overdone. Why? Because, again, the liquidity here did suck. It did suck here because the only thing that's ever happened was inflow. As soon as outflow happens, it's like what Tesla's problem is. Tesla never has outflow. So as soon as it has outflow, it has a liquidity problem. Because no one's on the sell side, right? Not liquidity in the same sense of what we were talking about earlier of crashing, but that needs to be tied into a broader market. Pot stocks continue. So again, we put pot stocks on Friday. Those of you that didn't take advantage of that, like I said, if you're not in, you won't be able to be in. Why? Because do you know what happens when a bunch of memers all try to buy pot stocks? They're willing to pay anything. They'll do anything for it. If you didn't buy in over here or yesterday, I want you to watch this candle, okay? You tell me what these candles look like, okay? We'll check back at this later. GRWG, obviously a favorite as well. This position from Friday, you're not going to get a better price. Here you go. I hate to say I told you so. And MJ is, of course, the ETF we've been using. We use the ETF for the liquidity to get filled quicker and get out a little quicker as well, right? Again, the pot stock move, do you need to be very smart to make this? No, because half the people making the trade are not smart anyway, so you definitely don't need to be smart to make that trade. Definitely not. Definitely not. Shaq, I'm watching this because, again, we're watching retail stores and sort of the restaurant side as well, sort of the food, beverage, this whole thing. FSR, again, this move here, it's important to realize that taking profit on this candle here to then re-enter this week, you have to be able to do it. You got to be able to, especially on charts that look scary like this because of the volatility. Apps continues, ARNC, aluminum, again, super cycle on commodities, FUV, VRM. Square and PayPal continue here. One big thing to mention here is the Chinese tickers. So again, Chinese ticker had a big day yesterday. These are great candles. Now, again, when we take these trades, we're pushing these trades, right? We take the trade on Friday, get it over the weekend, over 100% on these trades, but we push these trades specifically. These are the Chinese tickers are very similar to the value idea of there's value to be had here. So again, for a take profit to start like this is great setup for a lot of these charts. So keep that in mind. Let's see as we digest some of that opening action. X continues, right? Obviously, I mean, again, everyone that's taking this trade, of course, understands what they're doing there, but there's a reason why we don't take profit unless there's a reversal or a rejection, right? Or there are charts where you got to get the fuck out, like the FSR chart. Ecto says Donna and I cooling in MFC right now. Is MFC my free cams? Is that what that is, Ecto? Just kidding. MFC here, 1%. Brian says boo. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Again, coming up to this level here, important to respect our levels. So if we don't burst through, it's important. It's important to see that. Let's see. Foxa, look at this. Look at that supply right there about to be broken. Again, buying trend line. I talked about this from last week on the pullback, why we were taking that trade there. It's very easy to look at this and say, oh, that's not a very big uptrend. It's just the way you're looking at the chart. It doesn't seem as sharp. It seems flat in here, but it's not. It's not flat because of the move that's happening in here, right? That's the entire point. We have a lot of charts that actually are sort of, you have to tilt your head like that. What did I say over here? What does Peloton do? It chases Etsy the day after. If you didn't take this trade when I talked about it, that's also looking to be a rough one. COVID winners are coming back a little bit here. What did Etsy do, if you're wondering? Well, here's Etsy, and it continues. So, again, took the neckline trade here. Missed this part. This was 11.5% here. Missed that trade because I'm not willing to buy it down here. Missed this part. Took the neckline trade. Pushing that still. And what do? I realize that when I take this trade here, that if I'm taking this trade here, then damn well I can go take this trade. Get on the Peloton, order something from Etsy. There you go. You gotta get the converging ideas and understand where it is, and especially with the Zoom move, I think it's really important to take this part into consideration, that those three were the COVID winners together. Those were the three COVID winners besides just mega caps with tech. These were the COVID winners. Very important. Everyone has a lot of experience trading those. Everyone's been in that chain a billion times since last year. Very important to be able to put these things together. Just like if we're going to trade EVs, we're not going to just pick one. We're going to trade the whole fucking thing, right? You don't get to you don't get to pick just one thing out of the basket most of the times. You pick the whole basket up. It's not one thing. Not one thing. We try to individual ticker it and trade it at different times, but we do like to trade across an entire sector. All right, let's see. Well, I love the volatility in here, by the way. What an look at that. That's just give us more volatility, please. Look at that volatility spike there. Again, completely correlated to the S&P. Here's tech. This is quite a bit here, right? 1% or so. Almost 1% on that move. FSR is through the high. Probably in and out again. Apps continues. CGC, pot stocks continue. Again, it's very hard to go buy this right now, guys. So if you did not, you had all the chances in the world over here. I don't know how you buy that. I'm watching the prices right now. I don't know how you buy that. You can try, but But based on everybody else, again, the move already happened on the option market. So again, some of you just fucking are sleeping. Okay. Yeah, here everybody goes. Here everybody goes. CCJ, this is a fun one. We've been playing around with this for a little while. Trend line comes in at 1769. Nice. Cars. continuing from yesterday. Again, this chart talked about, you don't get paid on this candle. This was 21.5%. You don't get paid jack shit on that. You didn't get paid anything. You need more because there's not enough volume. It needs to break through these highs. Now you're getting paid. Just from a little bit extra price movement in here, getting paid. GoPro continues. Again, once it breaks that 8 mark. As soon as it breaks the 8 mark, what happens? Options get hot. Everyone gets involved. You can start to play the game. Both lit charts, LLIT and LIT, certainly on the menu. The lit chart here is the battery ETF, right? I know, not the sexiest candles, but a trade's a trade. All right, let me bring it over to ETFs, banks, XLF, continuing. What has done the best so far in terms of sectors? What is the number 1 and number 2? Anybody know what's the number 1 and number 2 sectors in the equity market? XLE is first. This year, energy is doing the best. Holy moly, really? This year, since 2021, energy has done the best? Wow. This XLE chart? Wow. What's number 2? You're telling me that banks are number 2 this year in terms of points gained? Energy and banks? Wow. Huh. That's right, folks. Energy and banks, the biggest value bad boys there are. That's right. That's right. Still looking very good. Again, what do? We keep pushing and add more on the pullback there. Looking good today. We're looking for a break of this high up here. What are these numbers up here? 1240? Looking for 1240. 1240 to break on F, and then I think we do need to think about the trend line. Trend line comes in here 1295, so 13 or so. That does need to be kept in mind. DVN through that, we talked about the 22.5 yesterday on DVN. DVN is through that level now, so not that it's going to put more velocity on, but it's going to continue its trend and not have to deal with some tightening up there. That's for sure. Aqua Booty, with that consolidating down here, could get interesting. That could be fun. We'll see what that does. Again, cruise lines continue. Sono continues. Retail stores continue. It's so hard to look at some of these charts. I don't think logging it helps, doesn't. It's hard to look at these because these are actually wider spreads than it looks like. But either way. Open's getting mentioned. It's through resistance. We of course bought yesterday on the support. This break here. That's this break. So there's your target. That's your target. We already did it over here. As soon as the break happened. That was 25% in 1 day, 2 days. SPR coming up into the trend line again. So again, aerospace and defense being one of our more bullish tickers, right? Or bullish sectors, right? Casper, CSPR, again, I made plenty of jokes from Friday into Monday. Here it is today, continuing its move again. Triple pillow top, Tempur-Pedic mattress with 2 free pillows, not just one. You can't ignore 2 free pillows. I'm sorry, but if someone's offering a triple pillow top Tempur-Pedic mattress with 2 free pillows, I'm buying it. So we were buyers. Here we are getting paid. Send us the mattress. That's all I'm saying. That's comfortability. Run through the level. Run. Again, we took the clean energy and solar plays on Friday. So again, these candles in here.
Look at this move here. What's run going to do? Oh, it's going to come up into this level here probably today. Probably. You did just hear we put on EVs as well. There you go. 14.5% is going to get added. There it is. There it is. Oh, and you're wondering about what's going on EVs right now? Well, let me give you a little look over here. A little look-see. You just let me know what that feels like. We buy on the pullback. If it kept going down, oh well, would have got stopped out. F continuing. What's going on here? Well, as the other EVs got a little bit of demand, this stopped for a moment. Does that mean it's done? No. No. Go turn on to a 15-minute and stop crying. All right. There you go. And better yet, go turn it on the daily. All right, let's see. So we're getting confirmation. In terms of how we would, again, we're in management mode. A lot of this comes down to transitioning and then what do we want to add? Again, the big question again is, if you're in position, which of your positions do you want to add more to? Which one do you want to add more to? That's usually a big thing. So again, travel is really up there. Travel's really up there.
I think you could continue to take the other breakouts. So as the breakouts happen, sort of like what we just had with EVs, right? We weren't in EVs and we didn't add to travel or something. We didn't add to energy or banks. We went into EVs. Again, further, not a diversification, but sure. You're still fucking long. You're not hedging shit, so. I mean, it's fine. Yeah, you're going up in position, so you're being protected more and more. But I mean, let's just be honest. You're not hedging anything. Foxa did move through that, so you can see now it's at 3%. Plot stocks, they are making their moves. Let's see. There's some charts that I know we are around the break-even spot. Uber and Lyft, we have been mentioning quite a bit. Are they better? They're not better, but they're not bad. Not better, but they're not bad. Viacom, Discovery continue. That's important. We keep seeing those move. Because if they're not moving, then not great. TCS continues. I told you from this move from Friday, my expectation is that we're not going to get stuck in supply like the times before. That over here is different. We'll see how that goes. Again, if it doesn't continue, then I'll get out of that position quick. Because, again, it does need to make a move, otherwise you're not getting paid. Still haven't got paid yet, because it's stuck in the supply. It's got to move through. Let's see, DD's through the 73.65 again. Dow 34,000. See you later. Those big value charts. DBX, that's a good mention. Let me bring this one up. DBX over here, it's on that trend line. Still a higher low. It's up on the day. It's going. Again, I took the trade down here. I think I was joking around with you, Ecto, saying, okay. The 23rd, and then we joked about it over here. Pushing that position because at any point the break could happen. This is not so much a break, but maybe it needs to break the trend line to get this candle in here. That 10% candle might need to break that trend line to get it going. You could certainly take it on that trend line break because it's certainly respecting it from yesterday into today. We'll see how that goes. Let's see what we got. J&J tightening, obviously part of those big boys. Spot, I don't know if I know some of you want to make the spot play happen, but after this, I mean, you're just not. You're completely outside of it, and I think you refuted it. I think you refute any consolidation idea in here, and now you're on a long-term sort of shithole consolidation. This is the Groundhog Day, and the groundhog stayed in its fucking hole. That's what that is. I mean, you could buy support and try to swing it up, but it's very hard to tell how to get out of here. Is it gonna get up to that trend line? who fucking knows? I have no idea. It's so hard to tell down here. Like, this move took a couple weeks. I don't know if you want to do that. Give me 1 sec, guys. Oh, Exxon. Exxon continues as well. That's a must-push position. That's too long-term of a position not to push. Give me 1 sec. All right. Let's see what we get here. How much tech? Let's see. We haven't taken a look at any of the mega caps. Let's go through the mega caps. Apple here, looking pretty good actually. Again, being held up. Market makers hasn't lost 1% yet. Let's go. Microsoft. Microsoft has not broken this trend, by the way. It's just going. We'll see. Can tell that no one wants to bid it, but it's not losing anything. It's like Google. So Google just holding up here. I mean, this is just holding everything. This is the risky part of the market last week. Nothing. So, I mean, this is holding the Nasdaq. All of these are holding Nasdaq. Now, Amazon's over here. It's respecting all these levels that we've had. It's just sort of sitting in there. No movement. You're not gaining anything. So, I mean, I think all of this is all March contracts holding everything. Car, no, it's not very liquid. No, it's not. It is not very liquid. And that's just because of the supply in here, really. If it gets moving, people will be buying and selling. But this is the problem with, again, on options. If there is no movement, and you're stuck in supply levels, it's really fucking hard to buy options. You only buy options if the price is going to move. So since it's not moving right now, well, what a great opportunity to get in then, right? And so again, this week I'm introducing some lower volume plays. You're gonna have times when there's nothing going on, and we're getting in to capture that move that's happening, setting up. I mean, there's different ways to talk about it, but it's usually through like a trapping factor where there's not many market makers are the ones that are selling options, writing options, right? That's who you're buying from. But there are places where there's not really any market makers, right? And there's just, sometimes there are, but they don't really affect much. And so if you are the predominant holder of contracts, then you can set the price yourself. Someone sees that the price is $3, but really it's $1, but the only thing they see is $3, and then it went from $3 to $3.10, $3.15, then they just fucking think that's the price. They have no clue. They have actually no idea that the price is only $1, right? Taking advantage of those times, it happens. There are times when it happens, and it's a good way to pad the stats. Trip continues. CCJ, again, the trend line up here. I told you, 1769, nice. Look, it's up at 6% now. Almost there. BDU, again, Chinese tickers looking very good. SFL, hard to tell. Pot stocks. PRPL continues. We mentioned this yesterday. Again, retail just sort of bouncing back and forth. For our take profit day so far, pretty good take profit day in terms of what we look at. Again, I'm expecting a flat day. So the fact that we've had some opportunities here is certainly interesting. Okay, Zoom is making the move here, right? It's coming back into the close here, as you would expect from a trendline rejection. It was holding up there for a little while. holding up there for a little while. This tightening that happened, some indecision, but now it's making its natural move to then further go, which is probably healthier. Peloton continues again. I think that was a must with that Etsy play. Penn and DraftKings from Friday, right? Continue. Got rejected at its level, right? Got rejected at the level up here. Wicked into it, the all-time high. That doesn't mean you sell from a rejection. No, that's not how you do it. DraftKings. Take profit. Perfect doji right there. Looks very good. Again, these plays, you're either pushing for further or you know from that trade that you made from the weekend into yesterday that you'd be taking profit yesterday if you're not going to push it further into the week. Completely fine to go take your 200% and feel good. Nothing wrong with that. If it was a short-term play, you put a March monthly on, and you take profit at the high where you can. Nothing wrong with that, that's for sure. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Laughing at everyone else trying to long-term trade retail tickers. Yep, run. Good call out. Looked at that earlier. I'm not going to bring it up. Let's see. For a take profit day, very good. And I do like the flow over here on what we talked about. All it needs to do is hold because, again, we're buying on an equilibrium. We're buying on what is a bit of tightening, but it's to the upside. So we don't have downside because we have tightening towards the upside. We're buying on these now for the move here. Jesus. Okay. I don't think there's any specific tickers that we need to talk about in terms of management. Everything's going pretty smoothly so far. HBI, again, retail stores, I've talked about them. A lot of the tightening moves, you just have to be a part of. Some of them, like this chart, you've got the converging trend line, the trend line with the horizontal resistance here, right? And so you understand where price wants to go. So that means you need to make the move before that happens. If you know that there's likely a position where there's a higher probability that price is going to move somewhere, then you use that information. So for instance, when we talk about these converging levels of supply, if price is more likely to move to that, do you wait for it to get there? Does that make any sense to wait for price to get to a position that you expect it to go? Or should you get in before that happens? And then, at that point, decide. A lot of the times, there's just waiting, and then, again, with our rules, sure, you're waiting for support buys and breaks. But there's times when you got to use the information and preempt what's going to happen there, right? If there's a higher probability of something happening, then make the trade. If there's an expectation something's going to happen, make the trade. Just like what we just did with Flo's idea, it doesn't need to happen, but there's a higher probability that it will happen. So I'm going to take the trade every time. All we can do is play probability. There is no such thing as fucking knowing what other people are going to do. Who knows what they're going to do? But by being a part of it, you're adding to the situation and making it more likely. By betting, you're making it more likely that it will happen, right? It's like voting, right? Well, my one vote doesn't matter. Well, that's exactly the point. Your one vote might not move the whole thing, but by you voting, you are causing something else to happen. Your presence, your vote itself, telling other people about it, whatever the fuck it is, it's going to cause things. Let's see. CVNA continues. Very nice. Again, that entry from yesterday, very straightforward. Let me put on the 15 minutes, show you this the intraday chart. Don't think we looked at it. Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Because I made fun of you guys. Definitely talked about it yesterday. Because like, oh, I wonder. I did some sort of voice here. It's like, oh, if only there was a way to see it, right? Yeah, it's a pretty clear break. Pretty clear one. This trend line today comes in 333. Very clear there too. And that's from the prior consolidation again, double diamond back to back. 333 is that
CVNA. Cruise lines continue. TTM, I mean, again, I know a lot of you do not like the charts that are like this, that are very pre-market and after hours oriented and when they're on other exchanges, but these charts are way easier to trade because you don't need to watch anything intraday. There's nothing to do intraday. It's either going to go up the next day or it's down because it fucking opens which way it's going to go, right? It opens which way the price will move because it won't do anything all day. It quite literally will not do anything all day. Every chart that looks like this, all you do is you base it on which way the candle opens, right? So if the candle opens above, well, the price action will be up. If the candle opens down, the price action will be down. If it opens above, price action's up. If it opens down, it's down. The move is actually like really, you just go candle to candle. You just bounce back and forth. Here it is in all-time highs, so it's following the all-time high rules, right? Follows gaps. The way this opened, obviously, it was when we first tried to get there. I mean, a little unfortunate, right? You gap right into the fucking trend line you're trying to capture. You're trying to get the move, but again, that's what these charts do. There is a chance there on that all time, but it's not that you need to trade it. But these are charts to be aware of, sort of like Deutsche, right? You got to be able to remove some of the, I don't know, the strangeness, whatever from the candles. Do you set orders at supply and let it get filled? It's no different. It's no different. It just looks different on the underlying. DJI were waiting for that move to get paid. Goes through, it's just like all the aerospace and defense, right? As soon as it breaks that supply, sayonara. That's what it needs. Okay, moving it over to the average. Again, X should be having a take profit day, so the fact that it's even moving is, everything should be looking like this, choppy. We didn't get the start to the bid sign, it's going to be a take profit day, a stop day. Check back tomorrow, folks. Check back tomorrow. Put your stop in and check back tomorrow. Your open's over, your buy opportunities are over. If you were going to take profit, then you would have already taken profit. There's nothing new that you're going to be able to buy all day. I promise. Because if it starts to move, then it's already too late. You're not going to go chase momentum. So at this point, the only thing that could happen and would happen is you get stopped out. Because you, again, would have already taken profit. So at this point, there shouldn't be anything to do other than we're going to watch the price action, see what decisions are being made on an intraday level, maybe see some if there's risk, any flows, maybe some, again, I like to watch the book, see if we got orders coming through Right now, it's still healthcare. You go look at healthcare charts, those big boy charts, you will see those periodic orders keep going through. They keep going through. Value charts keep getting those orders through. But there's really nothing else to do. Because, again, you're in position. Those of you that are not in position, well, you had all fucking open to do something. So now, you can't now go, well, now I'll do something. We're going to watch our positions go up. We're going to watch some of them go down, get stopped out. But that's about it. So again, on a day like today, yesterday was your day. That was the event. And really, it was from Friday. Today is your victory lap going into tomorrow. Keep that in mind. There's a flow to everything. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. Squaring, we're watching everything fucking grow, by the way. FSR is continuing from the re-entry. Trip continues. Skills, squaring, continue. MP continues. Aqua Booty is a possible, I just have an order there at the level. So it breaks, it gets filled. Pot stocks we're watching. CCJ continues. Open. Travel, all of travel, especially cruise lines. Brian just mentioned CCL again. All of the cruise lines, of course, we continue to push. Retail stores are just holds. If we're not going to be in them, we'll get stopped out of them, right? And then we had entries today on EVs, ARC style investments for flows. They're not specifically technicals there yet, but if there's a flow, then there will be. So there's that. Willing to lose a few percent on those as well because I don't want to fucking waste my energy trying to time those. And that's about it. Value looking very good. Our retail sort of picks like DraftKings and Penn, great take profit days so far, hold days so far. Very good moves there in terms of when we think about retail traders and their inability to have a big buy event and then a sell day. A lot of difficulty there. We're going to be watching tech here. Tech is the most likely spot that this most selling happens, right? Because again, no one really wants to be a part of the tech move. The tech move was a squeeze. What did I say yesterday about Apple? The game of squeeze goes both ways. Market makers buy the underlying. They buy the underlying because of all the options, but they'll just as quickly sell it. I said it yesterday. They'll just as quickly sell it. Why? For the same reason they bought it. They're buying the underlying. They're buying the underlying because of all the contracts get in the money, and then as soon as that game stops, the acceleration stops, then that means the probability is going the other way, and so they start to sell it, and it causes that chain reaction. Now it doesn't need to continue, and at some point it gets held. More options hold it, but we do see that here. We certainly do see that here. When you look at these numbers. But again, it's a take. We're not even close, by the way. You're not even close to the relative reversal point. This Nasdaq did 3% yesterday. SPY, look at these. This has until the trend line. There should be an expectation that this comes to the trend line here. If it doesn't, then it is a little strange because it either needs to go above or it needs to pull into support. Otherwise, it is a little strange. That's why that opening action did look a little finicky. This chart's perfect, still tightening. If it holds the low, then it's very bullish into tomorrow. On the small cap side, I think let me show you the Dow. When you look at this chart, it tells you everything you need to know about the idea of, look at this candle compared to the others, right? No one's even touching this fucking thing. Why? Because there's no Joe Schmo or Greg in his macaroni ball in the Dow. That's for sure. How do we know? You can look at the fucking candle. Has anyone touched anything? It doesn't look like anyone's touched a fucking button on this chart yet. Let me put on the 15 because it does look like it's moving, but it's not. These candles are tiny. They're tiny. Because there's no one doing anything. No one's touching any buttons. No one's touching any buttons. You get the points, keep the points. Very important not to sleep on any of the Dow. It's very important, I think, because, again, it's going to be a chart that's going to be like those energy in the bank charts, where it just keeps trending up, and the more it does, the less likely you are to buy it, and the more it sucks as it trends. This has been trending up. It just, the move is unappealing. It's not as appealing because it's not as much volatility. I'm again expecting a sharper move. Even these trend lines here signal a sharper move on the Dow comparatively. You compare this trend line to the trend line it was on, it's very different. This is a sharpness that's very different from that, right? Where does that lead? That leads to 34,000 by April. That trend. It's about 8%. That's a fucking big move. 8% is 800% on on the Dow in 1 month. That would be at 100. Add 100 to the, or yeah, add the 00 to whatever the underlying move is. That's what you'd be getting. Keep that in mind. Because again, no one's betting on it. No one's betting on it. So you get paid. Okay. Very nice break evens. CCJ is getting into the trend line I spoke about. We'll see what happens there, if it breaks through like a madman or not. We'll see. Yeah, I only see all of the equities that are tied to commodities. Again, commodities doing very well. Commodities doing very well. And then some of you are going, but what about gold? Well, gold sucks ass. Yeah. Crude continues to climb. Gas, everything, right? Yields are break even today. Full stabilization. What's our highest traded? Neo down from yesterday's move. Still up 1% technically from yesterday. Let's see. Dollars break even. Europe is doing very well. Currencies, nothing happening. Absolute boredom in currencies now. These are very good moves. Very good moves. What a nice take profit day. And by take profit day, I mean everything just keeps fucking climbing. I haven't had to do anything. Usually it's a little bit of a scramble. Like, I don't know. I'll just hold everything, I guess. Okay. Because you don't really know. You just don't really know. SDC, are we gonna get the move? It's a slow enough day. It's a slow enough day for SDC and DBX to go. It's slow enough. It really is slow enough. Your comment on X had me double taking. You shouldn't be doing anything on X. You shouldn't be thinking about anything. There's nothing to look at. Nothing to look at. Yeah, exactly. Put your stop in and see you later. This is one of those charts you can automate.
You put your limit buy on the level and put your take profit here if you want. But really, you just put a stop. Put your buy order and your stop order right here. When you said expect to take profit, I took a second look. Well, again, that's where the biggest thing is to know yourself here. Like, this is a bad example of a chart, but if it, for instance, took profit like halfway through the candle, you need to know where you would take profit so that you can take profit before that happens. This is a silly take profit day for a lot of these charts. Again, this is not a, we're expecting a stop day in the market. That doesn't mean all of our charts stop. Price doesn't just decide to stop, right? So everything's still moving. Everything's still moving. On the average, we have a stop day, as expected. But all of the charts are still moving, which again shows the bullishness that this market has on the ideas that we're sort of taking on, right? Cruise lines keep going. I mean, again, it's really easy to be like, these are silly charts. Hoo-yah. Hoo-yah is a possible. Hoo-yah is a possible. I do like the tightening in here. Trend line. GPS did get rejected at the trend line. This fucking EB chart. If that thing starts to make a move, it's going to put an absolute boatload of points on because of the volatility that's been in here. I could see that just... Let's take a look. I think it's already gone, actually. Let me see. I think it's actually already gone. Based on how bad the spreads are on this stupid chart. I think it's actually already gone. I guess I could get rejected like here, but yeah, I think EB's already left the building. Already left the building. If the market is stopped today, just sitting here, trading sideways, does aerospace and defense move? Does it get momentum because the rest of the market doesn't have any? That's the question. These are sitting right on supply. And then does the market start to move as some of these charts do catch momentum? If we're expecting flows into... Close is going to be fun. Close is going to be fun. I think you're a bit worried if you're not already in. So I'm trying to think of like others that will come in. I think you're worried if you're not already in on some of these charts. That you have to go get it. Because the market's not moving. this pullback is probably gonna get bought. It's 10:41. We're already getting like the lunch vibe because it's just a stop day so far. You're just trending into the trend line. Rotation. Take profit, take profit. Take profit. No money being moved. See, everyone bought where I talked about here, and then everyone held the trend line. So pretty much everyone's on the same schedule on this, that's for sure. You don't get this fucking candle and hold it there. Neo. Now, here's the question. This chart sucks. This chart sucks right now. Absolutely sucks. But this is now more tightening than from this move here. I didn't like this move. I didn't like because again, we didn't want to buy on Friday. And then yesterday, it didn't offer anything. I mean, if we're buying others, then maybe we should be taking this trade. It's got significant volume, as always. It's holding. It's going to get flow. It's China related. China's got points to put on. Oh, fuck. I'm getting baited because it's a slow day. I'm just getting baited. Alright, we're going to pick up some Neo too. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Run is a China company? No, it's American. American Solar. But I don't know anything about companies, so. I don't know if the company does. No, it's American. It's American. All right, boys, we are fully levered into EVs now. Good luck. Good luck. We are buying at the bottom of the barrel, that's for sure. This is not in Kathy we trust, that's for sure. Because I actually do not trust Kathy at all. I trust the flows, though. Trust the flows. TGT bringing the market down, exactly. How can retail stores be doing this to us right now? The great buy opportunity, to be honest with you. Buy at the bottom of the... Buy at support here. Fucking take it. Retail stores are bullish. This is a bullish candle if I've ever seen one. It's an engulfing line right there. outside bar of this trend, that's a buy. How much you guys want to bet that the target's up tomorrow? Fucking buy it. Let's go. Put some calls on. Thank you for mentioning it. Forgot that I'm a buyer on retail stores. Target. What's your target? 200. Let's get after it, boys. Let's make some action happen. I mean, we're fucking 100. I'm 100% in, so we can use some leverage. 100% in. I think we used a little bit of margin for Neo there. I'm broke. I mean, we could know. I mean, we are up like $1 billion on travel, so Always got money out there we can use. Getting paid on mattresses, you know. Do we take profit if it breaks this level? Here's the question. Doesn't look like it's gonna break it, but I'm not sure if we do or not. Some of these are weird. Some of these are hard to. I think some of these you just gotta. You can't fully follow rules on some of these charts. I want to push this further. I'm not gonna take profit on a break here. If it breaks the low, fine. Or if it fucking softs me out, fine. So again, sometimes you just gotta let it stop you out. If it doesn't happen, doesn't happen. But trying to leave this position to re-enter is stupid. I'm not gonna fucking waste the energy. Stop me out or give me my goal. CLR. Discovery continues again. How do you guys feel? How do you guys feel over here? Oof. Must feel pretty good. If you're in. Feels pretty bad if you're not. Put the Discovery channel on and wake up. $1 billion, you say? It feels like $1 billion. It does. It does feel like $1 billion. Have you looked at the travel charts? Those are 3 zeros. Those are 3 zeros on the options, depending on if you entered at the right time. You know what this Discovery chart is? That's a 3-0 too. That's a number and then 3 zeros followed. Do you know what 1,000% is on $10,000? A lot of fucking money. Take me to the wind. TCOM, very nice consolidation. Pennant for sure. For sure. That's a preemptive one. This chart is a lot of fun to trade, actually. The TV chart, I deleted the lines, but I think we'll take that at the lower end here. We're gonna make moves happen. How's your position doing, guys? You're still up $500 unrealized. You're down $250 today. You guys are doing fine. AGIO. Maybe we can have some bio fun today. Can always play bios. They don't stop for anything. AGIO is 48.61. We're right there. Let's see. DD's holding. Let's see. Under Armour's holding. Hasn't broke yet. Let's see. PAGP could be putting the points on today. Lunch should introduce some volatility. Tech is probably going to get fucked. This is definitely rising. How much does tech get boned is the question. Does it have any level to hold? Not really. Not on the average. Guess Apple's the only one that matters. Kind of. 126, kind of. We'll see. Semis are getting, that's trend lines. UMC back to break. Nvidia. Now these get interesting with volatility today. So this is, some of these are difficult because this will just gap. This will just gap the supply. Today's a stop day. If we continue the trend this week, we're trending up in the market, then all these semis that are stuck, like Nvidia's stuck under the supply, it's just going to gap the supply. If tomorrow we're going to be bullish, like we rallied yesterday, stop day today, and then Wednesday we continue that bullish trend, then these charts will just gap. So this is like my idea for some of the other flows. Those are going to get flows and they're just going to move, and it's going to be too late. This is the same idea here. You'd have to be willing to buy up here, which I don't know I'm willing to buy up there if it's not on support. It would have to be right on the support. Some of these are definitely possible buy opportunities because of that. I mean, I think fuck me. Some of these suck. It's hard. Like, this is fun. This was an easier trade. How about like Excellent X? See, this is so much easier. Some of these are difficult. Not sure. I think you'd have to continue to expect the trend to go towards the upside tomorrow, and I think China will have a better day, I would say. You think of the Hang Seng here, right? You gapped up and sold through. You gapped up. It made the move that was to be expected, but it sold. And again, this is this has to be from the Treasury side, that they want to see more stabilization here. The same thing is going to happen tomorrow. The same thing is going to happen tomorrow, I would say, or today, later. So this is like, it's the same sort of thing is happening. I think you get the same situation that leads to Europe doing well. I think it's the trend. We are trending, and I would be a buyer down here on this chart. I talked about maybe going over there and trading some of this, because I would be a buyer right there. I was a buyer here yesterday. It gapped. Could have took profit on the support break. I'd be a buyer right here again, and I think they will be. At what point does this break and then they fucking explode through? Really quite the outflow, but where the fuck did it go? It came over here. All of this came over here. So, fuck it. It's okay, because we're pushing all our positions. Asia was mixed last night. No, Asia was down. Asia was down. That's what it looks like. Everything was up from the move, but everything sold because of some risk reasons. They're not like Europe or fucking London's aggro. They are very tied into our market, even though we're tied into theirs, but SPY pulled back to the trend line, bouncing. Fucking buy everything. Who cares? 100% or stop out. Death boat keeps going. Oh, pot stocks keep going again. I bought a bunch of shit there on dips. If you didn't take advantage of them, don't ask me later. ask me later. Don't ask me later. Well, what about right now? What about now? What about now, Don? What about up here? Oh, what about now? Don, X is on support. Can I buy it now? Yeah, do you think pot stocks are ready? Well, they're building confidence. They're certainly building confidence. And so X trendline comes in at 22.25, 22 and a quarter. We'll see. Looks like tech is holding, huh? Bouncing back and forth. Ford broke the level. And again, the Ford trend line comes in at 13. Around 13. That's an important number to know because if it breaks 13, then it's really easy to get to 14 and really easy to get to 15. Right now, it's not that easy, but it's going to be real easy when that trend line breaks. Going to be pretty easy. Why? We should take a look at some of this price action. There's not really many good levels. There's not. Where price is right now and where that trend line is, there is. But above that, there's just fucking price action towards the upside and downside. I'll give you guys some levels later. Just worry about the trend line for now and not selling positions for no fucking reason. DVN continues. The A-row chart is definitely doable too. I think some people were wondering about that. You can do it down here. Absolutely. Again, I have a big weekly chart on A-row. I deleted it because it's taking up too many drawings, and we just know it's a big weekly chart that, again, was from this breakout through here and consolidated, and you could have bought anything. I'm bullish. Okay. A couple of questions here. Let's see. Roku's still having a good day. I'm fine with that. Again, we took this on Friday. The day we had yesterday was good. This is a good take profit day. I like the high, the higher low. Right. Do we take this trade here? I think there's probably some rationale for taking that trendline break here on BBY. We'll watch that. Brian says GM up, down, up. Yeah, Bed Bath & Beyond, if it breaks the trend line, same thing applies as before. There's just upside. AVXL, again, there you go, proving the point. APHA is the same trade. Saba, possible for the same reason. CCJ, again, it's heading there, so. Square Inc, PayPal, continue to prove it. Foxa proving it. Again, these like call-outs, definitely alerts were given from not only Friday, but yesterday and today. Just doing a really quick run through, sorry. I haven't looked at some of these prices. gold as shit. Bidu, it doesn't have the same level of volatility as the other Chinese tickers, which could be good comparatively. SPR is through the trend line again. Aerospace and defense, you can't time this. You just have to be in. You just have to be in. You just have to be in. It's just not gonna. As soon as the move happens, all of those prices will jump. It's just too obvious. It's just too obvious. At this point, I think GE is again the leader of the pack. As soon as this breaks the high, there's just nothing you can do. Maybe you can do it on GE. On GE, you're liquid. You'll have market makers selling to you, no problem. The other ones, I don't think so. It's not worth the price. Pump us, pamp, pamp, pamp. Pamp. Fucking down. Great stop day so far, boys. Okay. Swinging back and forth, generating volatility. There's some fucking volatility right there. We want it. Give it to us. Elevate it. Elevate it. The more the better. The more the merrier. Just pumping, literally just pumping our positions at this point. Bonds are not doing anything that would spook anything, and the dollar's fucking going down. Dollar is going down. So again, there you go. You're getting a mixed signal from the dollar in the VIX. That means you don't need to look at either of them, and you can just keep doing what you're doing. And you don't give a fuck about this. And you don't care about this. This means buy more. Do you want to buy something for $10 or $5? What's on the sell side? Let's see. Sell side. Upwork is on the trend line. ENPH on that same trend line. All of these semis that are doing that. Alex broke through the support here. We'll see what happens when that comes down. You get all kinds of levels in there, of course, so. I don't know if we're buying on the support on Cree, the trend line. I think Cree we need to be back above. Back above. Maybe not. Maybe not. Twitter, holding. Free Willy, showing that there's going to be more gain soon. Not much on the sell side in terms of like the take profit side in terms of action. Yep, SQ and PayPal are going to go up. So, yes, sir. Again, if you didn't take these on Friday, it's very hard to buy them. It's very hard to buy on this day yesterday, and it's very hard to buy on the day today. Very hard. Very fun day. Nice relaxing day. Nice to be in position. Nice to price watch. You can price, the best part about being in position when you have no more money to spend is you get to price watch. You get to P&L watch. You just watch your P&L jump back and forth, which is a terrible practice for just about every single one of you. You should stop looking at your P&L. The only thing it's going to do is cause you to make dumb decisions. For most of you, I would remove that tab. Remove the P&L from your fucking broker. It could only fuck you up. It could honestly only mess you up. How? Do you know? I don't know if there's a way. But there must be a way to cover it up. Put a sticky note over it. Put a sticky note over where the profit tab is on your computer. Have it so you can see your positions. Yeah, am I stupid sticker? And then have it so you can still see your positions. See how they're moving. Or maybe not, because, what you should be doing is managing the take profit question. The stop out question, you just get stopped out. The take profit is the rejection question. Am I getting rejected at resistance? And am I reaching a relative reversal point where I need to take profit where I'm not going to get stopped? Where I need to do it before a stop, right? In transition ideas, those are all, you don't need to know P&L to transition positions. You don't need to know P&L to get stopped out. You don't need P&L to take profit on resistance. You don't need P&L for any of those things. The only thing it does with you watching that go up and down and you thinking you're losing money is fuck you up and you make bad decisions. Now, you greasy finger mobile traders, you're going to have a really fucking hard time because that's the only thing it wants to show you, right? Maybe some of you that want to take trading seriously should upgrade from trading on your phone to a fucking computer like a normal human being. That might be the next step. Oh, you want to be serious about it? And you're here? Then what are you trading on your phone for still? What could you possibly be doing? How? How is it even possible? I just don't know. How are you fucking here on the call? In trading on your phone right now? I don't even know how it's possible. How is it possible? Took the P&L off TOS. Nice. As long as you have your positions there, you don't need to know the P&L. Right? Get a fucking stop in there. Brain just gained 300 IQ. Well, from minus 200, I guess that's 100. That's pretty good. FLNT. Jesus Christ. Converging trend lines. Yikes. Yikes. MP continued. What is the trend line up here? 54.5 or so. I wonder, pot stocks probably make the move during lunch for the same reason that I talked about yesterday for some of the moves that happen. The lower volume during lunch causes the spreads to come up, and since all of the price actions on one side, dominated by one side, which is the buy side right now, that spread causes fucking velocity to happen, right? I've got a feeling that something like this, retail gets involved and then the spread gets wide. It's going to be, these candles are not going to be followable. These are 2% candles in here on a 5-minute. You know what those are going to look like at lunch? If it's the same sort of price action, then that from 2% goes to 3%, 4% in 5 minutes. You know how hard it is to place orders when the underlying is moving by 2. This is normal volume. This is in 5 minutes, price moved on the underlying by 2%. You guys have a hard, I mean, I have a hard time fucking trying to get filled when price is just barely moving, right? You're trying to get a good price on the options. Now try to do it when the price is moving by 2% every 5 minutes. And then during lunch, when there's less volume and it's moving by 3% in 5 minutes with fucking shit spreads, right? It just becomes a nightmare. It becomes a nightmare. And there's nothing you can really do other than you are hoping when you place that trade that you don't get filled at the worst fucking price. And that you just, but everyone else is trying to get filled too. That happens. It looks like that's what's going to happen here. You're going to get some bad spreads. Get some bad spreads. The only thing that can help the bad spreads is that the volume stays consistent. You don't lose too much during lunch, which, again, the demand can happen where some of these will do the thing where the market is not doing much, trading flat. And so then the momentum goes into the other tickers, and that volume will help produce its accuracy. And it does okay, but still think you're going to get some wide spreads as usual during lunch, and it's going to cause some moves to really get going. Look at GME. How many of you were laughing yesterday at GME? Looks healthy. Looks good, to be honest with you. 1 or 2 calls, that's all you need. I think who was saying that close? I don't know what you guys were talking about. I was like, I'm going to put 1 or 2 calls on, and then like 5 minutes later I saw that you guys were like, oh, it's 40% down. I have no idea what you guys were looking at. What were you looking at? What was 40% down and stuff? Was it like the weeklies or something? Obviously I didn't touch weeklies. The weekly, okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, the spreads are already 40% probably anyway. I was like, what is he looking at? Because I was looking at it, I'm like, am I missing something on this fucking... I mean, I'm just doing it because, again, this tightening leads to upside. I'm not taking this because of a medium trade or something. I'm obviously not putting much on it, but probability-wise, it's tightening and it's going to tighten to the upside. If it was going to go to the downside, it would have just fucking sold to the downside, right? That's how memers are. You buy it, and then if it's going to sell, it will sell. If it tightens, there's only one thing that could possibly happen. There's only one thing that could possibly happen from tightening. It becomes easier to trade, and it becomes easier to buy, and all that buying is going to lead to one thing. If it's going to sell, it will fucking sell. It's not going to hang out. The people don't hang out. You ever hung out at a garage sale? I didn't think so. No, man, I love hanging out at garage sales. Random people I've never met in my life. I pull up, grab a beer, talk to them about their life. All right, you weirdos. Do you guys want to stop on your trade or anything? You guys are up $460, but you're down $300 today. For now, it's just hodling. Price is at what? I don't know. In the 12s or something, doing something. Let's see. NLS is fun down here. That's a fun one. Buying on these big volatility proms. IMAX continues. Imagine doubting. Yikes. Booyah. Yeah, so we're going to be watching aerospace and defense and pod stocks during lunch for that spread mentality that causes a momentum move. That's what we'll be watching. Individual tickers, obviously, we know. We're watching. Zoom will be interested to see what it came back into the close, and we'll see how it moves from there. It's operating sort of how it
how it would from a rejection at the trend line, right? Continuing. And again, earnings not mattering. Who cares? So again, earnings up or down. If it was down here, then it would have just came back anyway. It's up here, it's just going to come down anyway. Who cares? Who cares? Let's see. I think we want to take an early lunch here, because I don't want to be watching price for no fucking reason. It's bothering me. Trying to make content when there is none. I'm just clicking around. And energy, again, energy, banks, continue, look good. Banks, look good. Holding, big days yesterday, big 3% days yesterday. The SPY has a trend line. It's holding the trend line. Looks good. Qs, NASDAQ, looks good. Higher low, higher high. It's setting up for a good close, continuing into tomorrow. Wednesday's going to be a nice day, unless it's neutral going into Thursday. We'll see though. We don't know. Small caps value, holding its value. Really nice spot there. Really nice spot there. And the dark horse, the one that you should be betting on. This is where your odds are at the best. The Dow, 34,000 by April. At me, quote me. 34,000 Dow. Dow hasn't moved or done jack shit. That's how you get paid. I mean, it looked pretty good to me, but everyone has a different point of view. Squaring continues. Voxel. The call-outs from this morning continue. For some of those, again, it's a gradient between long-term and short-term. So you got to take advantage of the move as it happens, and then understand, okay, this trade could either be a very short-term trade, or I could be pushing it, but it's based on the contracts you get anyway. So you get Marches, well, you don't get to push through any pullback. It loses 0.25%, you're out. It stops moving, you're out. April's, okay, push through a couple percent loss. No big deal, off the top. TBNA looks like it's just going to continue. That pullback is pretty nice for lunch here. So, you know what, I'm going to just call it here. I don't want to be dicking around doing nothing here. Important that we do not make stupid decisions for the reason that we're just in position. We picked up some new things today, talked about some new things here, but it's very important on a day like today not to try to change the script just because we're getting what's expected of trading flat. Price doesn't stop just because of that, but again, we're going to just react accordingly. We get stopped out, we get stomped out. Prices go to the fucking moon, they go to the moon, and we'll react after, right? This week, don't forget, Thursday we have a big event, so there's likely going to be neutrality going into tomorrow. So again, this is where yesterday I talked about if you're not going to be able to push through some of that, then you just make the decision now. So again, some of you were making very short-term trades. We had like Venki making March monthlies. I was making March monthlies. I'm not going to push those, but I'm also those of you that are making sort of long-term. Some of you are doing the June type of thing. Then you're pushing those through the whole fucking week, right? You're expecting all-time highs. The only reason you bought June contracts is because you're expecting all-time highs and you're going to push it through everything. Otherwise, there was no point. If you take profit on those, then you just didn't know, you were just a little nervous and you bought something that's not going to move too much, not as much volatility. That's okay. Follow the rules, but again, you gotta know what you're gonna make for decisions. So if you know you're going to take profit on things, then just fucking buy short terms. And then, yeah, so then Brian says April's is the sweet spot right now, right? You've got that. It's not 1 month out. It's not 3 months out. The 2 month gives you access to volatility, but allows you to also play around a little bit. You could give it a day to take profit like today, to go push into tomorrow, right? June's, you fucking got to keep pushing. Marches, you can't fucking hold anything. You put marches on Friday, you're out of the marches, right? Unless it's one of these tickers that just keep pushing through, and there was no question, right? But, you know, again, very important to be, there's three fucking, it's just three different decisions. Whether it's the short term, intermediate term, or the long term. Each of those have a different response based on the rules that we have, right? You can't just go, well, I'm going to follow the rules, and since it got rejected, I'm going to take profit on my dunes. Okay, whatever. I mean, sure. Or whatever. I mean, maize, whatever you got, right? But I mean, June's a little out there, right? June, you got to push those. If you bought those, you got to push those. And Marches, you got to take profit on those immediately. There is no such thing as holding through a 1% down day, even if it's just a break-even day like that. There's no such thing as holding. No such thing as holding. You have to take profit. Take the bacon home. Enjoy your lunch, guys. Drink some water. Get up. And do a little exercise. Feel fucking tired, from just sitting here, I've got my P&L on, so, I'm feeling good, but don't want to let it get to me. Don't let it get to you. Enjoy your lunch, guys. I'll see you at close. Close will certainly get direction, because it's going to give us direction for tomorrow, so it is important to pay attention for close at the price action, what we see for price action. And again, we have decisions being made here, so if the trend line breaks on the SPY and shit like that, well then that's what's happening, right? And that's giving you direction. So if we're going back and forth, we're going back and forth. As of now, that's not happening, but again, don't trust in your own stories. I'm not going to trust my own stories. I'm going to trust price. So let price teach you. I'll see you guys at close. Enjoy your lunch. See you in a few hours.